Welcome and good evening. This is Jaded, Tales of Survival. And I'm your host Matrix 23. Here we tell original stories from the exiled lands and from deep within our imagination. If you enjoyed today's content, please like and subscribe. In the world of Aquilonia, Ella grew up in a small village on the outskirts of the kingdom. Her father was a respected blacksmith, known for his skill in crafting weapons and armor for the knights and soldiers who protected the realm. One fateful night, a group of bandits raided the village, seeking to steal the precious metals and valuables that Ella's father had hoarded over the years. In a cruel twist of fate, her father was murdered by the bandits, leaving Ella orphaned and alone in the world. With no one to turn to for help, Ella struggled to survive in the harsh and unforgiving world of Aquilonia. She resorted to stealing and scavenging for food, living on the outskirts of society and constantly on the run from the law. One day, while rummaging through an old shop in a nearby village, Ella stumbled upon a golden idol that shone like a beacon in the dimly lit room. Intrigued by its beauty and mysterious aura, Ella picked up the idol and began to inspect it more thoroughly. The shopkeeper, an old man with a keen eye for valuable artifacts, caught sight of Ella holding the idol and gasped in horror. That idol belonged to the god Mitra, his voice filled with awe and fear. "You must return it at once, lest you bring down the wrath of the gods upon us all." But Ella, desperate for a way out of her life of poverty and hardship, ignored the old man's warning and fled the village with the idol clutched tightly in her hands. She made her way to a nearby market town, hoping to sell the idol for a hefty sum of gold. Unfortunately, the merchant she approached recognized the idol immediately and raised the alarm, alerting the guards to Ella's presence in the town. Before she could make her escape, Ella was captured and dragged before the king's council for judgment. The council, comprised of wise and powerful noblemen, deliberated her fate and ultimately decided to banish her to the exiled lands, a barren wasteland where criminals and outcasts were sent to live out their days in solitude and despair. Alone and abandoned, Ella wandered the desolate landscape of the exiled lands, haunted by the memories of her father's death and the choices that had led her to this lonely and forsaken place. But as days turned into weeks, Ella discovered a strength within herself that she never knew existed. She learned to hunt and forage for food, to fend off the savage beasts that roamed the land, and to harness the magic that flowed through her veins like a river of power. With each passing day, Ella grew stronger and more determined to find a way back to the world she had left behind. And one day, as she stood atop a towering cliff overlooking the vast expanse of the exiled lands, Ella saw a glimmer of hope in the distance. A vision of the golden idol she had stolen, shining brightly in the hands of a mysterious figure who beckoned her to follow. With a sense of purpose and a fierce determination burning in her heart, Ella set off on a journey to reclaim the idol and unlock the ancient mystery that lay hidden within its depths. Ella had always been curious and adventurous, traits that often got her into trouble. So when she saw the strange man with the idol in his hands, she couldn't resist following him. As she got closer, she realized that the man was further away than she had thought. He seemed to dissolve into thin air. Frustrated but determined, Ella quickened her pace, determined to catch up with the mysterious man. However, her pursuit was cut short as she was suddenly ambushed by bandits who appeared out of nowhere. Before she could react, they had her restrained and thrown into a cage, where she was to be sold to the highest bidder. Alone and helpless, Ella could only watch as the men argued over what price she would fetch. As night fell, a dense fog crept over the camp, shrouding everything in an eerie silence. Suddenly, from the sand beneath their feet, a horde of mangled corpses rose up, their hollow eyes fixed on the bandits. Terrified, the bandits tried to fight off the undead, but they were no match for the vengeful spirits. Screams rang out in the night as the corpses tore the bandits apart. Ella watched in horror from the safety of her cage, realizing that she had narrowly escaped a grim fate. As the fog cleared and the chaos subsided, Ella found herself face to face with the mysterious stranger who had vanished before her eyes. He introduced himself as Victor, a friend of her late father's who had been following her in secret. He explained that the idol she had been chasing held great power that could only be harnessed by placing it on the hidden altar deep within the jungle. Ella was stunned by this revelation, but she felt a sense of gratitude towards Victor for saving her from certain doom. Together, they set off on a journey to uncover the mysteries behind the idol and to put an end to the evil that sought to control it. As they traveled through the exiled lands, encountering massive creatures and ancient ruins, Ella and Victor formed a bond unlike any other. She learned to trust him, relying on his wisdom and experience to guide her through the dangers that lay ahead. It was a journey filled with danger and uncertainty, but Ella found herself growing stronger with each passing trial. She discovered a courage within herself that she never knew existed, and a determination to see their quest through to the end. So after careful planning they set off into the jungle to find the altar that's said to unlock the idol's power. Ella and Victor had been traveling through the dense jungle for days. They were on a mission to unlock the power of the idol, which was said to hold immense power and grant incredible abilities to those who could harness it. As they trekked deeper into the jungle, they stumbled upon a hidden clearing where they found a magical tablet. The tablet described an island where the altar was located, guarded by giant snakes that slithered through the lush undergrowth. Determined to continue their quest, Ella and Victor set sail for the island, their hearts filled with anticipation and trepidation. Upon their arrival, they were met by an evil sorcerer who had been guarding the island for centuries. The sorcerer, sensing the power that Ella and Victor possessed, demanded that they hand over the idol. When they refused, he summoned a powerful demon to retrieve it by force. A fierce battle ensued. Victor valiantly fought against the demon, but was ultimately struck down, his life fading away as Ella watched in horror. With tears streaming down her face, Ella clutched the idol tightly to her chest and fled into the heart of the island. She could hear the sorcerer's laughter echoing through the trees as she ran, the sound of his malevolent voice driving her forward with a fierce determination. As she reached the altar, Ella felt a surge of pain and anger coursing through her veins. The loss of Victor fueled her rage, and with a cry of defiance, she placed the idol upon the altar. A magnificent power erupted from the idol, enveloping Ella in its radiance as she felt a powerful energy coursing through her body. In that moment, the power of the idol awakened within Ella, granting her the ability to summon the god Mitra himself. With newfound strength and determination, Ella unleashed the power of Mitra, the giant golden god, stomped with the power of 1,000 elephants, reducing the structure to rubble and ash. As the dust settled, Ella stood amidst the ruins, her heart heavy with grief for the loss of Victor but filled with a newfound sense of purpose. With the power of Mitra coursing through her veins, she knew that she was destined for greatness. And so, Ella became the new high priestess of the exiled lands, wielding the power of the idol and the blessing of the god Mitra. She vowed to use her newfound abilities for good. With Victor's memory guiding her every step, Ella embarked on a new journey, her spirit unbroken and her heart filled with determination. And thus, the legend of Ella, the high priestess of the exiled lands, was born.